All right, so we're in the next part of this podcast, and I just showed Andrea the first of 3 Lord of the Rings movies, Fellowship of the Ring, like moments ago.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And first of all, obviously, Andrea loves Orlando Bloom.
I mean, yes.
Yeah. But she also loves a new character.
I do.
Tell the people who you love.
Pippin.
Pippin!
He was just great.
Wasn't he, though?
He was just great.
He's stupid, but he's lovable.
I think that's why I love him.
Yeah.
Because he's just so, like, naive, just happy.
Right? Like, everybody always says, like, oh, I love Sam because he's so loyal to Frodo, but, like, Pippin, man.
He's just, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's just there for the ride. He's like, okay,
Right.
guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come.
Where are we going?
Sure, sounds fun.
Literally quoted from the movie, where are we going?
Yeah, right? Yeah, I don't know. He was just great. He was funny.
Yeah. He's comic relief.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
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 It was good.
Yeah. On the other end, there were some deaths.
Were there?
Yes, there were.
Spoiler alert.
There were.
This has been out for how long? Way past spoiler alerts.
20 years?
There were some deaths. They were very sad.
They were.
I was actually surprised at how many main
Yeah.
people's deaths there were.
Yeah. I think, like, not even in this film, but, like, across all films, Boromir's death is, like, as weird as it is, like, one of my favorites, because, like, it's, like, a heroic death. You know, like, he dies, like, saving the hobbits. Mm-hmm. Or he wants to save them, but he doesn't. But the intent was there.
It was there.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was a little
was
busy having arrows.
Right? Sorry, guys. I'm busy dying.
Having arrows shot at me. Sorry.
Sorry.
Can't really protect you.
Get out of here now.
I love how they were just standing there.
Right. Yeah.
Instead of running.
Yeah.
You know, just
No, it's too sad we have to stand here.
watching. Oh, Pippin.
Yeah. And our boy Gandalf.
You know, you're probably not going to tell me, but is he really dead?
You know I can't tell you.
I know. I figured.
Right?
But I want to know.
Don't you, though?
But I do.
But, like, okay, he's dead.
Okay, so that's all you had to say.
Right?
Okay. I just figured he'd be in more,
Yeah.
but I mean, he died really fast.
He did. Like, halfway through.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was surprising.
But, I mean, in all fairness, though, he died, like, fighting a giant fire demon.
It was pretty badass.
Right? Like, if you're gonna go down,
Might as well.
die fighting a fire demon.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
But, overall, what'd you think so far?
it was good.
I mean, first of 3, but, you know.
I liked it more than I thought I would.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of like how you were with Bridesmaids.
Yeah. Right?
It's kind of how I felt like. I was expecting to be a little more confused
Okay.
by the storyline.
Yeah, because I kind of said that going in, like, you know, there are obviously a lot of, like, names and places that are, like, these are brand new names and of places and people, and,
Yeah.
like, these, like, you know, there could have been names like John and Allison, but no,
Simple
it's,
names?
right? There's Aragorn and Frodo and Pippin. Legolas.
Oh, Legolas.
Like, the only common name is Sam.
Yeah.
Like, that's really it.
Yeah. Why does everyone else have a weird name except for one good dude? Like, Sam.
Yeah. And I know that you care about Gollum. He wasn't really in the first
Okay.
one.
I just think he's funny.
He is. Well, and I mean, this is the only film that he's not really in. Like, the second two, he's He's in there plenty.
Good.
He's in there a lot.
I just like how he talks.
Yeah. Oh, you'll love him. Like, if you love him and you haven't even seen it yet, you'll love him when you see it.
Yeah, I just think he's funny.
Yeah.
Like my precious.
Right?
I scared my sister one day.
Yeah.
Because she called the house phone.
Yeah.
And it was like late at night. I was like, hello. She was like, hello?
Yeah.
I was like, hello.
Right. I will say the one thing that, like, I wish these films had more of is, like, more presence of the main bad guy, Sauron. Because, like, I guess, like, whatever, he's a spirit, kind of, I guess. Held alive by the power of the ring. But, like, you think about, like, the other big franchises, like Star Wars, you see the Empire, and you see the Emperor, and you see Darth Vader. In Harry Potter, you see Voldemort, and he's, like, very big presence. But, like, you don't really see Sauron.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like that's kind of, like, adds to the mystery of it, though.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, in a sense, like, the ring is, like, the bad, like, object or whatever, but, like...
Yeah.
I guess that's what you kind of have to see as the main bad guy. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch the rest of them.
Right. But, I don't know. Like, I think I was talking about this on a different podcast. Like, I love just the CGI, or, like, the lack of CGI. Because mainly what they had was either they were on location, or anything they couldn't, like, do on location. Like, they did, like, miniatures of stuff. Like, those giant statues on the river. Like, those are just miniatures, like, blown up, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's just, like, stuff like that. Like, they didn't have as big of a budget as, like, a lot of other big films. So, like, they kind of had to work with what they had.
Yeah, but... And I don't know if you agree, but I feel like when they do too much CGI, you can tell.
Yeah.
Like, in this, you could tell it was real.
Yeah.
Like, you knew. Yeah, this was...
Right.
Like, there's not a lot. It's not computer animated.
Yeah. And what is computer animated is, like, really good looking.
Yeah, you can hardly tell.
Yeah. Like, the cave troll in the mines, like, he was kind of goofy, but, like, I mean, it looked kind of cool.
Well, it did look cool.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, like, super, like, oh, this is...
Like, super cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell this is computer animated. Like,
yeah.
You couldn't tell.
Right.
Besides knowing the fact that it was...
Right. These things aren't just walking around in New Zealand.
Or are they?
Well, I haven't been there, so I don't know. Peter Jackson, you're from there. You know, huh?
Maybe that's where he got his...
You know, maybe he, like, trained a cave troll and be like, hey, bro, want to earn some money on the side? You want to star in a movie?
Need some extra cash?
I mean, full disclosure, you might die, but, you know, it's worth it for the cinema, you know?
We won't talk about it.
Well, you won't talk about it. You're going to be dead.
No. We're going to fake kill you.
All right.
No. You're really going to die. No, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Mm-hmm. There's so much more.
Oh, gosh. I can't wait.
Some new characters thrown in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does Liv Tyler's character come back a lot?
She does come back, but, like, I mean, it was kind of like in this film where she's not, like, a main character.
Okay.
You know, you don't see her, like, all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you answered my one main question was if Legolas died, and...
No, that's the one thing I will tell you, like, your boy does not die.
Thank God.
Everyone else does, though. Pippin dies. Frodo dies.
Don't tell me this. It's just at the end, Legolas. He's the only one.
Standing on a mountain of bodies. Yeah!
He's like, I got the ring.
I got it, boys.
This was my plan all along.
But I will say that more good people do die. I will say that. I won't tell you who, but
Like, more of the main good people?
yeah.
I feel like I know who's gonna die.
Okay, well, you'll have to tell me when that time comes. Or at the very end, you'll have to tell me who you predicted would die and who actually died.
Well, I don't know, maybe he
Do you want to make your predictions now?
Sure.
And I just won't tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I think Sam might die.
Okay.
Maybe Pippin.
Okay.
Just because that's how my life works.
Right? Anyone I love dies. Okay.
And yeah, I really feel like Sam does. I feel
Okay.
like that's...
Okay.
Or maybe Viggo Mortensen's character. I forgot his
Aragorn?
name. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay.
But my prediction's on Sam.
Really?
Or, yeah.
Okay.
Or Aragorn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We'll see if I'm right.
Well,
You already know.
right?
And I could Google.
Don't you dare.
I might.
Don't. I will hack your computer. I'll just, like, disable your phone. How about that?
What?
I don't know.
You can try. That'd be very impressive.
Okay.
That'd be impressive. I get home, I try to Google it, and it just keeps erasing.
Anything Lord of the Rings related. Everything else is fine.
I'm just like, did Legolas. You would do that.
I would. Just don't use your phone for the next couple weeks. It's fine.
Oh, God. I'll just Google.
Again, you can try, but... Okay.
I mean, if it's important to the storyline, I won't.
It's important to me. Doesn't that count for anything?
Sure, fine.
Okay. Like, I haven't seen Bridesmaids 2 yet, okay?
Oh, I haven't either.
Does it actually exist?
I think they're working on it,
Are they?
supposedly.
Oh. Cool, bro.
But I probably won't see it either.
Oh.
JK probably will. But,
Well, we'll see.
I mean, I feel like this is a more serious thing than Bridesmaids. Like, Bridesmaids was just like,
Oh, yeah. I mean...
here's a funny.
Right. Comedy versus big blockbuster.
Well, yeah. And you're lucky you haven't seen Harry Potter, because that would have made you watch all 8 of them.
Right. But that's one of those things that, like, you know, we grew up with, so...
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like shame on you if you haven't seen Harry Potter.
I know people who haven't,
Yeah.
and I don't understand it.
They're called muggles.
They are muggles. Muggles.
Stand on my rooftop. I'm a Ravenclaw and I'm proud.
Gryffindor.
With my wand up in the air.
Yeah. Show that Ravenclaw pride.
Yeah.
Do it.
I will.
No, I actually thought it would be harder to follow along.
Yeah. Well, I think, and I'll always defend this movie, but, like, I think part of the reason, like, why it's so long is because there are so many, like, names and characters and places, like, you don't know. So it's like they're really trying to, like, ease you into, like, understanding it before they get on with the action, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I think you can agree that, like, the first half of it was all, like, exposition and, like, kind of easing you into, like, this world.
Yeah. Yeah, it was all background that you kind of need.
Right. Because, like, if you didn't have one of the scenes, like, you might be totally confused.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it gives you that good foundation so that way they can, like... Because they put you through or take you to so many different places.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have that foundation of, like...
And, like, you were saying at the beginning, like, wow, this introduction is, like, really long, but, like, you kind of need it.
Yeah, and it wasn't, like, it was long, but it wasn't boring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, oh.
Well, they did, like, throw in a battle in there, and, like, they threw in, like, Gollum. That cutie poo.
Oh, Gollum.
You're gonna love him.
Probably love to hate.
Oh, it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't boring, though. And, like, you knew, like, okay, this is probably important.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I know, like, these movies are long, but, like, I do hope, like, they're not insanely, like, you're snoring through it, you know?
I told you, the first time I tried to watch it, I fell asleep.
Yeah. You just haven't watched it
But I was
with
also...
a nerd.
But I was also, like, 10, and...
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, I feel like these films are so dense, like, as a kid, you either love it or you, like, are just bored.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be, like, invested into it, or you're, like, just not gonna get it. You're gonna be bored.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And I was too into Harry Potter
Yeah.
to, like...
You're a Potterhead, I'm a ringer.
I am a Potterhead.
Yeah.
Through and through.
No, you're a Gryffindor.
Well, that too.
Oh, we'll also have to figure out what race of Middle-earth you are. Like, if you're an elf, a dwarf, a hobbit.
I can tell you right now I am not a dwarf.
I totally identify as a hobbit. If I was anything.
I would probably be a hobbit too.
Like that fun-loving, just like chill, relaxed.
Yeah.
Like, don't go looking for trouble.
I feel like I'd be a hobbit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smoking your pipe weed.
Or an elf. Probably not an elf though.
Yeah.
I'm not like outgoing.
Right.
I mean, it can be, but I feel like I identify more with like a hobbit.
Yeah.
I could just be like, hey.
I feel like a lot of people do. Just like hobbits, man.
I'm just gonna chill out. Eat.
Are
My second breakfast.
Are hobbits like the hippies of the modern world?
They probably are.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, man.
I think Pippin really became my favorite when he was like, what about second breakfast? I was like, yes.
Yeah, man. Then Aragorn throws a peach at him.
I was like, not a peach, but I understand.
I love like that mindset when you were in when Pippin knocked down the skeleton down the mines of Moria. Just like, oh, Pippin, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, right?
Come on, bro.
Really? Really?
I was voting for you, man. I liked you.
We're rooting for you.
Come on. You almost got everyone killed. You literally kind of got Gandalf killed.
He did.
He kind of did in the long run.
Oh, Pippin.
Pippin. Come on, Pippin.
This is where you insert the Tyra Banks gift. We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
Pippin's just in the corner, just like, I just wanted second breakfast, man.
All I wanted.
Come on.
You just gave me second breakfast.
This wouldn't have happened. Gandalf would be with us right now.
Well, like, why you gotta touch the skeleton, dude?
Like, come on, dude. Come on. You just had to stand there.
That would be the last thing. Why are you touching it? It's a skeleton.
He's chilling next to the shaft. I mean, just don't.
Right?
Just don't. And, like, the rest of the skeleton kind of fell down with the skull. And Pippin just kind of didn't do anything about it. He just kind of let it fall down.
Yeah, he was just sitting there like...
Oh, no. And then the bucket goes down, too, like, oh, no.
It's like... What? Well, at that point, he's like, all right, I've already...
I mean...
Damage is already done. Might as well just...
Hey... Frodo, you want to go into?
Right? Oh, Lord. Pippin.
My goodness. Pippin. MVP of the year.
Got Gandalf killed, man. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right. So this is it for this section of the podcast. We might... I don't know which one we'll see next. Or which one will be included in this next. It might be the Two Towers. Well, I think it's your pick next. I think we're going to alternate, but I don't know if I want to put the Lord of the Rings all together in the podcast or like...
Oh.
So it might be Two Towers. It might be your pick next. We'll see. You're going to find out in about a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. So we just watched the second Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. and we had to split it up over a couple days because the first night we started late, I guess. Plus, it's like a 3.5 hour movie, so
Yeah.
we had to split it up over a couple days. And we just finished the last hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It was good.
yeah, you liked it?
I did.
How did it compare to the first one so far?
Well, okay, so I like when movies are like setting up things
Yeah.
and like introducing you to the world. So I think I liked the first one a little bit better.
Okay.
But that I feel like that's just because like I like the first Harry Potter because it sets up that world. And
Yeah.
you're like getting an introduction.
Yeah. It is interesting because a lot of people that I've talked to that have seen Lord of the Rings, the second one is actually their favorite.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Well, I think a lot of people like the battle in the Two Towers.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of their favorite battles in, like, any film. Like, it's up there. Which,
It was a good battle.
it was a good battle.
It was intense.
Yeah. People died.
Just a couple.
Gimli got tossed.
That was hilarious.
Right?
He was like, just toss me.
Just toss me. Don't tell the elf.
It was intense though, because you were like, at one point, you're like, oh, they're gonna die.
Right, yeah. Well, at this point, people have died, so, you know, anything's fair game.
Right?
You know, it's not like this is one of those, like, nice, lovely movies where no one dies. Like, people get shot down with arrows and...
I love how the orcs just randomly got arrows. Like, at first they just
Yeah.
had what
Right.
are those, like, spear things?
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of a sudden they had arrows.
Bringing in the heavy guns.
Yeah.
Man.
And they had that huge, I don't even know what you would call it. That thing that, like, they had the rope.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know what that's called, but
The pikes or whatever I don't know what they are.
something.
Something. And then they blew up part of the wall and... Yeah.
Annoying.
Yeah. And, so... I don't know if I explained this during the first one, but, like, there are different... Like, there's Middle-earth, which is, like, the main, you know, world.
Mm-hmm.
And then each kind of land is, like, broken up. Like, think about, like, countries, in a sense. So, like, Rohan, which is, like, what this movie was, like, based around. Like, that's kind of its own country. That was mostly the Two Towers, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's what... I think you explained that in the first one, and that actually helped.
Yeah. So, like, the Shires or, like, the Hobbits live, that's, like, a country. That's, like, the country.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Rohan is, like, a separate country. That's where, like, men live, and it's kind of like the horse folk and, like, you know, out in the country, the plains and all that.
The hillbilly.
Yeah. Kind of. And then for the last movie, The Return of the King, it's gonna be set in Gondor, which is, like, kind of the city. It's, like,
okay.
mostly in the city, but, like, this is, like, a big country with, like, a city in it and all that, so.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. Pretty fun.
Excited.
Yeah. And, you know, you and your Gollum, you love Gollum.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Is that gonna change next movie? We'll find out.
Uh-oh.
We
Uh-oh.
kind of got, I mean, you know, he's always kind of been a little
I
good,
won't-
little bad, but, like,
I won't hate him. I'll just be disappointed in him.
right? I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Like a parent.
Right. And you love your Pippin
I do. Listen. Gollum and Pippin.
and your Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, but more Gollum and Pippin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, see, before we started, you were hardcore Orlando Bloom. Now
Well,
it's
I
like,
still love Orlando
Well,
Bloom,
of
but that's
course.
just because it's Orlando Bloom.
yeah,
But, like, his character, no.
yeah, okay, that's fair. His, like, emotionless character.
Yeah.
You
He's just, like, chill.
You like your comic relief.
I do. I do.
Yeah. I remember the first part of this movie when I saw it in the theaters when I was a kid. Because we split this up over a couple nights, so I don't know if you remember. But
Probably do.
But when we followed Gandalf down the trench with the Balrog, like that demon.
Oh yeah.
Like in the first movie, you don't really see like that part. Like you just see Gandalf fall to his
Yeah,
death.
right.
Think right,
You don't see him like fight him, and
which is like really cool. I
It
thought
was.
as a kid, right?
no, it was cool
Yeah,
because like you just thought he was dead,
right. Hold up,
but
he's
no,
back.
it wasn't.
Gandalf the White now.
Right? Spoiler alert.
You know what? If you haven't seen it at this point, Andrea.
It's been long enough, I guess.
But like even you kind of saw that coming, right?
Yeah, I knew he wasn't dead.
Right.
Like, I didn't know
Like-
how he would get out of it, but I just knew.
Like even especially at the beginning of the film, like we saw his journey down the like his fall with a Balrog. So like I think even then you kind of knew like why would they show this if
Well, I think for me it was like he seemed like such a big character
yeah.
that I was like, there's no way this early on that they killed him off,
Yeah.
and it's gonna stay that way.
Yeah.
I think
I
I
know.
even made a comment to you, didn't I?
I think so. Like, and that's the thing is, like, we didn't, in the first film, we didn't actually see him die. We just saw him
No.
fall, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, Boromir, we actually saw him get shot with arrows.
Right.
Like, bro, you dead.
Yeah, you just dead. Well, I think I looked at you, I was like, there's no way he's still dead.
Yeah.
Like, he died.
And of course, I did be like, well, we'll see.
Yeah, I was like, Dave.
But, yeah, I know during the first film, you were like, Dave, like, where's Gollum? I want Gollum. So, you're getting your Gollum fill.
I am.
But I don't know. For me, other than that, like in terms of Frodo and Sam, like this isn't the most exciting part of their journey. Like the second film,
I felt like it didn't really focus on them.
it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like, kind of an filler almost. Not really, but like just kind of.
Kinda. For them.
Yeah,
It seemed like a lot of the action and like progression was with the other characters.
yeah. It was like kind of character progression. And then also, so Aragorn. We're gonna focus a lot on him next film.
Okay.
So, like, we needed, like, that character progression, because, like, I told about, like, Gondor. Well, like, that's going to be the main city, and that is where Aragorn is the rightful king. Because, you remember in the first film, in, like, the prologue, when that one king cut the ring from Sauron's finger, and then, like, he took the ring for himself, and which eventually got him killed. So, like, he was the king of Gondor, like, a long time ago. Aragorn is a direct descendant of him.
Oh, okay.
So, like, and, like, there's a lot of stuff kind of in between that, like, nobody was really king in between that time, which they'll explain in the next one.
Gotcha. Okay.
And,
So
like, this is a lot of, like, explanation, but, like,
That's all making sense, though.
in a sense, like, we saw that when we first were introduced to Aragorn, that he was, like, a ranger. Like, he didn't really want to be king. Like, he was happy with, like, his solitary life. So, like, he's just having, like, a hard time accepting the fact that he's a king of a country, basically.
He's like, I'm gonna rebel against it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I think, like...
Do they explain, like, why he has a hard time accepting it?
Well, because... I think partly because his ancestor cut the ring from Sauron's finger, took it for himself, and, like, he let the ring kind of corrupt him, which eventually got him killed. So, like, in a sense, Aragorn is embarrassed by his ancestors.
Gotcha. He doesn't want to... Okay.
Yeah. So, like, he doesn't want to... Like, he feels like his ancestry line is weak. So, like, he doesn't want to, like, associate himself with that, you know?
Yeah.
So he's just gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna do my own thing, like, whatever. But I mean, well, you'll get a little explanation, like, next movie about that, and
Interesting.
yeah.
I can't wait.
There's, like, so much,
Yeah.
like, that you're gonna, yeah. It's a lot.
My brain gonna explode.
Or you're just gonna sit there for a long time and be like, what's happening?
Probably.
We'll have to see how we feel. We may need a longer day, or we may need to split this next film up, because it is 4 hours.
Oh my god.
It's a 4-hour film.
What are you subjecting me to?
The Miracle of Lord of the Rings. That's what?
Yeah, that might just need to be like a full day thing.
Like, this isn't like an after work thing. We need a day.
A full day.
Yeah. We can make our Hobbit meals. We need second breakfast.
We do.
Yes.
I love it. I also feel like I feel Pippin on a spiritual level about second breakfast.
Yeah. We need it. We've had one breakfast. What about second breakfast?
I was like, I understand Pippin. On a deep spiritual level.
Do you identify as a Hobbit?
Out of everyone, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I'd probably be a Hobbit.
Yeah. Like, elves are cool. Like, they're smooth and, like, they run fast and, like, they're fit and sexy. Like, I get that. And, like, dwarves are a little more hardcore. Like, they like their parties and meat and mining and, like, your gruff life. But, like,
I'm more of a Hobbit.
Hobbits are just, like, chilling.
They just, like, they're hanging out.
Yeah. Getting along, gardening, doing some weed every once in a while.
Yeah. I'm a Hobbit.
Yeah.
I don't do weed.
In the extended versions of Two Towers, we saw that Merry and Pippin found their barrels of weed.
I wasn't sure what that was until I saw
weed.
the leaves, and I was like, oh.
That's weed.
No, like when they opened it up.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Now I know.
Like, why are they so excited? Oh.
Well, because I was like, is that like, what is that they're so excited about? And then I was like, oh.
Oh.
Of course.
It's 2 literal barrels of weed.
They were so excited. They're like, we each get one.
Wow.
And then Mary did not want to share with the tree beard.
I mean, in all fairness,
Listen.
it comes from plants, tree
That would be like
beard.
feeding a pig pork.
Right. That would be like, yeah. I was going to a restaurant and being like, hey, do you want, like, to eat this French guy?
Right?
I mean,
Right? No.
It's like tree beard cannibalism.
It is. It really is. That was funny.
Yeah. So.
Can we talk about how Frodo betrayed Gollum?
What do you mean?
He basically, like, tricked him.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it wasn't...
Whatever.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Or, like...
And this... Speaking of Gollum, like, I feel like I need to kind of, like... I'll go through this a little bit, too. Which... Again, we'll see in a flashback, or like spoilers, but whatever, but we'll see in a flashback in Return of the King kind of like how Gollum became Gollum. But basically, and I, at this point we kind of already know a little bit, but basically before Gollum was Gollum, he was a hobbit, like I think I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And he went by the name Smeagol.
Oh, yeah. I figured because that's why they call him Smeagol.
But he found the ring, which we saw in the prologue of the first film, I think. And when he was a hobbit, he got the ring, and he was basically, like, more obsessed with it than most people are. And that's kind of why he, like, became as insane as he is. And he kind of, like, his friends and family shut him out, and he became, like, crazy. And he, like, shut himself out, went to the mountains to, like, live a solitary life. And, like, his body literally, like, morphed into, like, this creature.
Do you think that would have happened to Bilbo Baggins if he kept the ring?
Probably.
Yeah.
Like, he was kind of going down that road before he gave it up.
That's what, yeah, it kind of showed that.
Yeah. Like, that's kind of, like, also what the ring just does to you, because it's like an evil power and it's trying to get back to Sauron. So it's like literally making people evil and crazy you know?
Right.
And Gollum had it for, like, a long-ass time, so, like, it made him, like, the way he is now, basically, you know? So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like Smeagol.
Yeah. Smeagol, that's the thing, is, like, Smeagol's good, like, that half, but, like, the Gollum side, that's, like, the evil side that, like, kind of... Because it did kind of, like, manifest into, like, a double personality.
Which is interesting.
Like, Smeagol is, like, the Hobbit that's, like, still, like, that's his good side, you know? But, like, Gollum is, like, the side that's, like, trying to take over. Like, that's the side that is power-hungry, wants the ring.
Well, it's, like, the psych term, but, like, I could totally go into psych.
Yeah.
It's like the psychosis, like,
yeah.
your break from reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is. You should just, like, sit down with Gollum, just be like, okay, bro, we need a session. We need more than an hour, man.
Gollum would be like, no.
Yeah. Is that a ring on your finger?
My precious.
Yeah. But, yeah. Two Towers, you liked it?
I did.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
11 out of 10? No, that's too low, right? 20 out of 10?
Give it like a 5 out of 10. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, now you can get out. No, but honestly, for me, like...
Oh, we should have done ratings for the other movies, too.
We should have. Not too late. We can do that at the end.
Yeah.
But honestly, for me, like... My rating for Lord of the Rings, obviously, I love them all equally. Like, they're my children. But
your babies?
My favorite is Return of the King, the last one, honestly. Okay. And then my next favorite is Fellowship, which is the first one. And then Two Towers is, like, it was good, but it's, like, not up there.
Okay.
For me, you know?
So far, I would have to say Fellowship was my first favorite, and then this.
Yeah.
Not that this was bad.
Right.
But...
Yeah. And I also think, like, as each movie goes on, it gets progressively darker, too.
So it's kind of like Harry Potter in that aspect.
Yeah. Because, well, partly the first film, like, so much of it was in the Shire. So it was, like, a good, like, happy movie. Like, yay. And then they're kind of going off onto their journey. And then this one is, like, there's a major battle that happens. And
well, and I think the threat becomes more imminent.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. And also, like, you can see the ring kind of taking Frodo over a little more, you know?
Which I was mad at you about.
What?
Because you lied to me.
Did I?
You did. You said Frodo doesn't turn bad. You technically didn't.
Well...
You technically
so
didn't turn bad.
I'll correct my original statement and say that it becomes harder for him to kind of wrestle with the power of the ring.
Yeah. No, but you weren't wrong. He didn't turn bad.
Yeah. Like, he just has, like, those moments where the ring is stronger and kind of overtakes him.
Yeah.
Like, more so than others. You know?
Well, there was those, I don't know what you call them. The people on the flying.
Oh, the Nazgul. The ring wraiths.
I feel like that, kind of.
Yeah. That's the thing, is, like, one of those evil presences comes close to the ring. That kind of, like... I don't know, in a sense, like, activates it to be like, oh, yeah, like, I'm
evil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of makes it stronger.
And something Gandalf had said in the first film is, like, the ring is trying to get back to its master. It wants to be found. So if there's an evil force, like the ring wraith, that can get the ring back to its master...
It's gonna want to go.
Yeah, so... That's why Frodo's just like, hey, ring wraith, here's the ring. Because that's the ring, like, overtaking him and being like, okay. Like, yeah, so.
That was intense, though, because you're like, Frodo!
Frodo? But it's okay. Sam comes and saves the day. Gives his little emotional speech.
He did.
It's a good speech.
It
That's,
was.
like, one of my favorite speeches in the trilogy, to be honest.
It was like, oh.
Oh, Sam.
How could you?
Sam.
That's so sweet.
Sam.
Yeah. That was intense.
Yeah.
And it was also intense when certain parts of the battle were intense too.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the trees.
The trees, Treebeard.
I love Treebeard.
And I think you had said, like, oh my gosh, it's Groot. It's like Groot.
It's like Groot.
I mean, this guy has a little more vocabulary, but...
Just a little bit.
You know, a few more words here and there. It takes him longer to say things, but that's okay.
It's okay.
We still love him. Also, Gimli, the dwarf, he voiced Treebeard.
No way.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right? Which makes it so much better.
Right?
Which, by the way, you said that you love Gimli, too.
Oh, yeah.
Gimli's great.
He's hilarious.
Yeah. He's a feisty little dwarf.
He is.
And you also kind of noticed that at the beginning of the film, Legolas and Gimli didn't really like each other. Now they're kind of like having like playful games with each other, like counting.
Oh, counting how many deaths?
Yeah.
Oh, that one when he was like, he's dead because my sword is in his nervous system. I was like, well, Gimli, you're not.
I mean.
You're not wrong. You're very educated for a dwarf.
Right. Where'd you go to school? Did you go to private school?
What'd you get on your MCAT? Yeah, no, I do. I think I like the comic relief.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely there, but it's not overbearing either. It's like...
No, it's not like too much where you're like, it takes you out of the...
Yeah, takes you away from the main...
Yeah.
You know? It's like just enough to be like, okay, I feel a little better now.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, it kind of breaks it up a little bit.
Yeah. You kind of need it, though.
You do.
If it didn't have that, it'd be a little more depressing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it kind of pulls you back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this isn't the only movie that does it, but I feel like depressing movies, you kind of feel like, just like with any depressing topic, right? You feel a little weighted down.
Yeah.
And that kind of like lightens it up and pulls you back, like...
Yeah, because like with Harry Potter, you had like the Weasley twins and Ron.
Aww.
Oh, R.I.P. to one of them. And R.I.P. to the other one's ear.
Right? Oh.
That was... I mean, we're getting off topic, but like, that was my most heartbreaking death in Harry Potter was...
Me too.
Fred Weasley.
That was the only death I cried at. Everyone was
Yeah.
like, I cried at Dumbledore. I cried at Snape. And I was like...
Which is like, okay, but...
Okay, I understand, but like, I wasn't that emotional about
But
their
I'm
deaths.
sorry, did you lose your twin brother?
Right? I was like, did you not see that Fred Weasley died?
Poor George, he probably couldn't even really hear that well. Wait, who died? Well, could you speak up?
Aww.
Anyway.
But
yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. Like, in Harry Potter, you had, like, Ron and Luna.
Yeah.
And the Weasley twins, and it did break it up.
Mm-hmm.
From not being so serious.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like it makes it more entertaining, too. Like, you have the battle going on, which is entertaining enough, and then you have, like, Legolas and Gimli kind of, like, going back and forth with each other, you know?
Yeah.
I think it helps kind of elevate the scenes.
I think so. And I think for people who aren't really, like, big into action, it kind of keeps your interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't mind action, but...
Yeah. And you wonder why these films won a buttload of Academy Awards. Oh, snap. That's right, I can't help myself.
Don't ever talk to someone who doesn't like Lord of the Rings.
Like, all I'm saying is the next one was nominated for and won 11 Academy Awards.
Listen, not that I'm saying it shouldn't, but I feel like Harry Potter should have been nominated too.
I'm surprised that Harry Potter didn't, like, get way more nominations or wins.
I know.
It's a surprise. Sorry that Lord of the Rings was hogging them all.
Yeah. That's what happened.
I mean, oof.
To be honest, though, I feel like Lord of the Rings... There's a lot more like, cinematically that they had to do than Harry Potter.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, they had to create all those warriors. They had to create all...
Well, which is kind of what I meant to talk about as well. Like, think about, like, all the costumes and makeup just for the orcs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, think about it, like, all those costumes that had to be made.
How many hours of makeup?
And even, like, the main characters. Like, think about, like, the number of costumes they have for however many scenes, and, like, they have to do makeup and hair and blah, 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 you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and then where they did the battle, like, Helm's Deep, like, that big battleground, like, that's a miniature.
Which is crazy to me.
Like, like, it's insanely detailed, so, like, you wonder, like, how much time that must have taken, and...
Yeah.
Like, the attention to detail with that kind of stuff.
I know.
And that's why this kind of stuff, like, I love so much more than typical CGI nowadays, you know?
Oh, you can tell a difference.
Yeah. And, like, honestly, a lot of CGI today, as good as it is, you can tell it's CGI.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, this stuff in Lord of the Rings seems real because it is.
Right. Oh, yeah, if you look at Twilight when they turn into werewolves.
Yeah.
They don't look real.
Right.
Like, you can tell it's computerized.
Yeah.
Whereas this, nothing looks computerized.
Yeah. It's all, like, prosthetics.
Even, I think, didn't you say with Treebeard they had a person, like...
It was, no, that was, like, full size. Like, Frodo, well, I think it was, like, the waist up, like, full size.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Merry and Pippin had to sit on, actually, Treebeard.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you said, too, like, there was a guy who was, like, from waist up.
Like, in a sense, well, there were, I think it was, like, in a giant green room, and they detailed Treebeard waist up, which is, like, what you actually see in the film, is what's... Like, they didn't do anything to that.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then they have, like, two literal guys in, like, green screen outfits, like, behind, like, doing the motions, so it looks like Treebeard is walking.
So cool.
Right?
So cool.
Yeah. It's dope.
But even then, like, instead of just CGIing Treebeard.
Which would have been, you could have done that.
It would have been easier.
Yeah. And also, I think I mentioned this too, for the battle, like the army, all those orcs, obviously they didn't have people for that, so like they had to, like, computer generate some. And like, whatever, like, beginning of the 21st century, like, they did not have a satisfactory program to make a CGI army, so they literally created their own software to do that.
So cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's definitely, like, I don't know.
There are, like, hours, like, literal hours of, like, special, like, behind-the-scenes stuff that, like, kind of go into all this, and, like, I almost like that stuff almost as much as, like, the actual movies. Just being able to, like, learn how do they do all that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Oh, yeah. I love any, like, I think it's interesting to see what you see versus how it was filmed.
Right.
You know, like, how did it get through that process?
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, I've heard, because I love The Office, right?
Yeah.
So I listen to, like, the podcast from two of the cast members, and they're talking a lot about, like, oh, you know, in this episode, in the first script that we, like, had the table read for, this scene wasn't in it. And then when we were filming, it just kind of was like, oh, here, try this. And it turned out to be, like, one of the best scenes.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting because it's like, oh, wait a minute. They didn't even have that in there.
Yeah.
That wasn't what we were supposed... You know what I mean? So it's, like, cool how it goes from script to screen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I know that for Lord of the Rings, like, they were doing rewrites to the script during filming. Like, they would come, like, some of the, like, the main actors would come in on a day and be like, oh yeah, we rewrote part of your script for today. You gotta, like, memorize that. It's like, oh, okay, thanks.
That's kind of cool, though, because they're taking, like, how it actually is going, how filming's actually going.
Yeah.
And, like, revamping it.
Right. Trying to make it the best it can be.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's fun.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
I wish I was creative enough that I could do that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm even going into filming, like, there's so much stuff that I don't even have a clue about.
I feel like that's one of the industries I mean, every industry is like this, but especially with film, you're constantly learning.
Yeah. Because it's so vast. There's so many things, like, parts of a film that you can learn about.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway. 2 Towers, everyone.
It was good.
Yes. Can't wait for Return of the King.
I know.
The king, by the way, is Aragorn.
That's what I thought.
That's our king.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
After you said that his ancestors, I was like, oh, he's got to be the king then.
Yeah, Return of the King. So exciting.
Just wait. I have my movie for you.
Yeah, Count of Monte Cristo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm excited for that one, actually. So.
Are you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but nothing can be as depressing to me as The Promise. Partly because that, based on a true story, right?
Right. Those are always more depressing.
Yeah, because you know that it actually happened. Plus, kind of a personal relation for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just sitting on the couch next to you, just like, ah, sorry. I mean, I know I didn't do that, but like, sorry. I know this is still going on. Sorry.
Right. So it'd be different if we were watching it like a year ago.
Right.
And you'd be like, dang, they really did that?
Oh, no.
Now it's like, ooh, they're still trying to do that. No, I think it's one of the things where I could see from your perspective it being awkward.
No, I mean, I didn't care. I don't care that much, Andrea. But it's still just like,
It was depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely not a happy. If the Count of Monte Cristo isn't happy either.
Okay, but
it's not based on true, so it's not.
there's a difference between not happy and just straight out depressing. And
I mean, okay, it's not as depressing.
okay, I mean that I can deal with.
Yeah, it's not as depressing.
Okay, good. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for listening. We're on to our next movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one that we're doing kind of a few days, well, probably a week later.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
The one you were most excited about?
Yeah. I mean, equal excitement for all of them, but this is the one that I was most excited for. Oh, and you said, like, David, I need to get my thoughts together for this.
I did.
I mean, that's fair. It's like 4 hours of movie. Oof.
Well, and I just needed a process.
Yeah. And I know a lot of you are thinking, like, 4 hours, that doesn't seem right. Well, we watched the extended edition.
Yeah, this guy made me.
You know what? Okay, I will say, okay, we'll get into it, but there's, like, entire scenes that were not in the theatrical edition. Like
the important scenes?
I mean, like, that might be subjective, but, like, Saruman the Wizard dying, that wasn't even in the theatrical edition.
What?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a
big part, right?
A big part, yeah.
Right? Because he's such a big bad guy, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't even in theaters, no.
And I feel like that's such an important, like, part of, like, how they can get to Mordor and...
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Interesting.
Well, because how the Two Towers left off is like, we know that he was defeated or whatever. But we didn't actually... I mean, he obviously didn't die yet.
I mean, but that doesn't make sense. Like, he's just gonna, like, bow down and be like, oh, okay.
Okay, guys, my bad.
I'm gonna let you...
I mean, he's still a wizard, right? Like, he can still...
Right, so it makes sense, like, they'd have to kill him...
Right.
...to complete this mission.
But yeah, in the Return of the King, they don't even... In the theatrical edition, they don't even mention him at all.
That's so interesting.
Right? And also, I know that...
Let's try some.
TV went off. But I know that one thing that you had talked about was, okay, how did Gollum get from a hobbit to, like, this, like, creature form? And literally the first scene in the movie.
Well, I almost, but I was like, he's not going to tell me.
Right.
He's not going to tell me. But I was like, I feel like that guy is.
Right. When you first see Smeagol, it's like, looks familiar, sounds familiar. Oh, that's Gollum.
Yeah, I was like, I think that's Gollum.
And I know you had asked this before, but, like, about, like, kind of, like, what the ring does and, like, how evil is it, like, how Smeagol became Gollum. Like, that's the kind of evil that, like, the ring has. Because, like, the more you have it, the more you use it, and then, like, the more obsessed with it you become.
Right, right.
Literally, you become Gollum.
Right.
Like an evil, like...
Yeah.
Like, creature, basically.
Well, I think, and I asked you, too, like, is that what was going to happen to Bilbo? If he had kept the ring?
Well, you kind of saw, like, a few things, like him freaking out over the ring, and so you kind of saw that he was going down that path. Mm-hmm. So if he had kept the ring, he might have.
Yeah.
You know? So I think, like, he kind of gave the ring to Frodo at the right time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because that's what I was, like... I mean, I'm sure the book's going to, too, but they allude to it pretty well that, like, he's not there yet, but it was... Once you learn about Gollum, you can make that connection of, like, okay, this is where Bilbo was going to go. Like, that was the road he was going to go down.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could kind of...
Poor Smeagol.
Right. So, and I know that you love Smeagol, but, like, it's kind of like that, like, little split personality where it's like, you like Smeagol because he's the sweet, innocent hobbit, but, like, Gollum is, like, the side of him that is evil, and you can hate that side of him.
Yeah.
It's like a love-hate relationship.
It is. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird because in the beginning you're like, aw.
Aw, Smeagol.
Gollum.
But then he, like, straight up tries to murder Frodo and Sam, and...
Oh, I know.
Well, and Gollum is the reason that, like, Frodo kind of went off on Sam, right? And made him, like, go back home halfway through. Like, that was Gollum's manipulation to get the ring back.
I think I even said to you, I was like, how does he find out? How does Frodo know? I was so mad. I was like, poor Sam.
Right.
Poor Sam. He's just so pure.
Right. And speaking of Sam, like, what Tolkien, the author of Lord of the Rings, had actually, like, mentioned was, if you think about it, Sam is, like, the real hero of the story. Because, like, if you think about it, like, Frodo would not have made it if Sam weren't there.
No.
Like, there were so many times when Frodo could have and should have, like, lost and, like, fell victim to the ring. But Sam was there to, like, basically be like, bro, like, snap out of it.
Yeah. Well, and he carried him up.
Yeah. He carried Frodo.
He did. He did. Okay, but I think the real hero of this movie was Pippin.
He sung a song.
He did.
Like, I remember even when I saw it in theaters as a kid, I'm like, ooh, Pippin can sing. Like, Pippin's got a voice.
He does.
Yeah.
Listen, he's the real hero. He's the real MVP.
He may be an idiot sometimes, but we love him.
Listen, he's great.
He is amazing.
I like him even more than Gollum.
Yeah? Wow.
He's no, but you're right. Like, Sam is the one that really pushed Frodo.
Yeah.
Really did. And he, like, even, I think they even showed that when he was trying to convince Frodo, like, Gollum's evil.
Right. Yeah.
Like, he was even trying to, like, help him with that. Like, he was right from the beginning.
Yeah.
When they first met Gollum, he's like, no.
Frodo? This guy's bad news.
Frodo was like, oh, he's fine.
He's fine. He's cool.
It's like, no, he's a Gollum. I don't even know what, is he just like, do they even have a name for like that creature? Or do you just see he's like a hobbit and they turn?
He's a hobbit gone bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I told you as well, like, there were moments, like, even as a kid, like, I got a little emotional over, like, when Sam is like, I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. Like, listen.
I think that was so sweet. But I also got really emotional when Frodo left Sam.
Oh.
Because of
Gollum? Yeah.
And Sam was just crying.
Yeah.
That I got emotional. I was
yeah.
like, oh.
Because, like, first of all, Sam's right.
One.
And also, like, Sam is such a sweetheart. Like, he doesn't deserve that.
Right? I know.
He's, like, one of the most pure characters in the series.
I know.
Come on.
Him and Pippin.
Right?
They're the purest characters.
Right? The other one was when Aragorn and Gandalf and all them kind of have, like, that final showdown, and Aragorn just turns around and he's like, for Frodo. And he just charges into him. I'm just like, yes!
Like, my heart. Yeah, I think another part that really got me emotional too, or I thought it was just a good like part, was when they all thought Frodo died, because they saw like the lava.
Oh yeah.
Or
yeah, when
is that lava?
Yeah. Like when the ring is destroyed and they're all like, yeah, Frodo, and then like the volcano explodes. And they're like, oh no, Frodo.
Yeah. Right? But then it also takes you to Frodo and Sam, and they just kind of both are like, oh, this is our doom.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
that part was like,
that kind of hits you hard.
oh my God.
It's like they just kind of accept the fact that, like, it's over for them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they saved the world, but like, okay, we're gonna die.
Exactly.
And we've, like, made our peace with it.
Like, we saved the world. We did what we needed to do, and
yeah.
okay, I guess we're gonna die now.
And then Frodo wakes up, and like, it took me, like, I didn't realize this when I first saw it when I was a kid, but when Frodo wakes up and he sees Gandalf for the first time, and he's so excited, like, I realized after a few times, like, oh yeah, Frodo thought Gandalf died. Like, the last time he saw him, Gandalf was fighting the Balrog, and he, you know, quote unquote died, right? It's like, Gandalf, what? Bro, you here?
You brought that to my attention. I was like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Like
I
Frodo
think,
didn't
like,
know.
Almost everyone else knew, maybe except for Sam, because he was with Frodo.
Yeah.
But I think everyone else had seen Gandalf.
Right.
So, yeah.
Frodo's just like, bro.
Nobody could have told me that.
Did I really die? Because you here?
You here? This heaven, bro? Oh, wait, no, Pippin, you here. Okay, we good.
Oh, hey, Pippin. And that was also a really cute scene when Frodo's in the bed.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was cute.
Because, like, he's obviously excited to see everyone, and everyone's excited to see him. And then Sam walks in, and they just kind of, like, share that look. Like,
oh, yeah.
We've been through a lot together. Like,
we've been through some shit.
Yeah.
We bonded.
It's one of those, like, things that bros do. Like, don't have to say anything, bro. Like, we good. We good. We okay.
I know what you mean. I got you.
By the way, I love, like, how everyone who's obsessed with these movies is like, so we're voting for Frodo and Sam as, like, a gay couple, right?
Didn't I say that to you? I was like, how many fan fictions do you think is written about those two?
Because there are some scenes where you're like, dude, this is a little more than a bromance, I think.
Just a little bit. There was one scene where I was like, you guys are super close to each other.
Honestly, though, better than most couples out there today.
I mean, listen.
You know, just saying.
Although it was cute when Sam went to the bar.
Oh, yeah.
And talked to that girl that he
Needed
like,
a
was
quick
in
drink.
love with.
Rosie.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, boom, I got this. Hey, Rosie.
Boom. I need my drink.
Immediately next scene, they're
married. You know.
It's fine.
That's how it works, right?
And Pippin catches the bouquet.
Yeah. I was like, Pippin.
Pippin, my man.
Where did we keep saying no, Pippin? What scene was that? Because there was one scene where we kept going, no, Pippin. Pippin, no.
No, it was when he saw the seeing stone. The plant.
Oh, yeah, we were like...
When he was reaching for it.
We're like, Pippin?
Pippin? No, Pippin. And then Mary wakes up, he's like, Pippin, no.
We're like, see? See, Pippin?
Gandalf comes in, Pippin, you idiot.
Pippin, we told you.
Pippin?
No, Pippin. Go get second breakfast.
So, also some people died. Some bad people died.
So that was good.
Yeah, which is good.
That was good.
Yeah.
I liked the bad people that died.
Right. But King Theoden died in battle.
I know.
Kind of sad.
It was.
Yeah.
But he kind of made his peace.
Yeah, he did. Like, he had a satisfying death. Not that death is satisfying, but, you know.
No, but, like, he made his peace, right?
Yeah.
Like, he
was like, I'm going to join, like, my father's.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah.
He went out the way he wanted to.
Yeah.
Basically.
And, like, I feel like he kind of knew, like, yeah, I'm probably not going to survive this.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Also, speaking of him, like, my favorite scene out of not just this movie, but all three movies is when Theoden and his army come to Gondor to fight. And, like, they just have that, like, army pop in and they just have, like, that triumphant, like,
we're here.
Gallop into the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good scene.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's built up so perfectly.
Yeah. And it comes in at, like, the perfect time.
Oh, yeah. But it is. And that's because you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
They can't win this. Like,
right.
And then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah. We watched this, and every single time that I watch that scene, I get goosebumps just because I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Awen and Mary are like, death! They're getting pumped up. I'm like, yeah, Mary.
Right? That was also a really good scene when Pippin thought Mary had died.
Yeah.
And he was upset about it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Bros.
Pippin.
Pippin.
I want to give you a hug.
You've been stupid, but you're forgiven. You're okay.
He's so just like naive stupid that you're just like, I have to forgive you.
He's like has that childhood stupidity.
Yeah,
you know?
that like naivety.
Like he doesn't mean it.
Like that naivety, right? And you're just like, oh.
It's okay. I know you didn't mean it.
I just love Pippin.
I mean, I could go off with facts on this movie all day, but another one I told you was when Sauron's eye, like when the ring was destroyed in Sauron's eye, like whoop, like and his tower came crashing down. This movie came out in 2003, which was 2 years after 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
So Peter Jackson, the director, is like, guys, we cannot give any like reference to like the 9/11, like the twin towers falling.
Yeah.
So like
my mind was blown when you said that.
Yeah, like so they had to have like a meeting about like, okay, how do we make a tower collapse without referencing 9/11?
Oh, yeah, that's hard because most towers are going to collapse like
vertically, like straight down. So like they kind of had the tower like kind of lean over as it was crumbling, so
it was the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Which like they made it look really good.
Yeah, it didn't you didn't look at it and you were like, "Oh."
You didn't...
It wouldn't fall that way.
You didn't... Like, it was believable,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, like, yeah, if it had fallen vertically, like, I could definitely see how people would think, like,
oh, for sure.
You know?
Well, they played that footage of 9/11 so much that, like...
It was, like, ingrained in people's minds.
Yeah. So it would for sure come up if they saw it.
Yeah.
No, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And that's good thought to put into it.
Right. Yeah, I think these films are, like, insanely well thought out in general.
You can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Like, there's a lot of detail that, like, you wouldn't even think about, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And I can't remember, because I feel like I can't remember which happens in what movie. Like, I remember the plots.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, like, because I remember when Treebeard and his army, I can't remember if this is in...
That was in Two Towers.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I was like, I can't remember if it's in Two Towers or Return of the King. But...
Yeah.
Even that scene was, like, so well thought out.
Mm-hmm.
To me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And I also... this is something that, like, I noticed, but, like, I love the music in it. Because they had a lot of, like... people, like, doing chorus stuff. Like, a lot of, like, vocal stuff in the background, you know?
Yeah.
Which I thought, like, because that was during when Treebeard and his army kind of went off.
Oh, yeah,
and, like, different scenes. So, like, I thought that was done very well.
You know, obviously this is well thought out. I mean, not even the movies, but just the books, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he created his own language.
Right.
Like...
Yeah. Yeah, Tolkien created the Elvish language.
He literally created a language.
Right.
Like...
You know what? If you're not creating languages, are you really putting in the work?
Right? Like, J.K. Rowling, I love Harry Potter, but come on.
I mean, come on. Did you create a language?
No. No, you didn't.
And
You should have... Actually, well, no. You didn't create a whole language. You created
Right.
Parcel Tongue.
yeah.
But...
And, like, what else was I going to say? Like, the fact that Tolkien, like, made this entire fictional world and made a well thought out history of it
is amazing.
Yeah. Because he made a book called The Silmarillion, which is an in-depth history about Middle-earth. Like, it's like a textbook written in a novel format, in a sense.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, and it's...
Like, his level of detail is
Yeah.
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I could just tell that from the movies.
Right. And I think I told you that the Lord of the Rings books are to this day, I still believe, the second most read books in history. The first one is the Bible.
Which is just, like, if you think about it, that's insane.
Yeah. And it shows, like, how much of a following he has.
Well, you know what? I think it's because, like, even watching the movies, like, they intrigue you to know more because you know there's more history.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Like, this is a little tiny part in the
Right,
history of Middle-earth.
exactly. And you gain curiosity.
Mm-hmm. And they are making a Lord of the Rings... Well, it's not Lord of the Rings, but it's a show on Amazon of a different time in Middle-earth.
Are they really?
Yeah, it's already confirmed for, like, 5 seasons. And it's basically so there are, like, different chunks of history called ages, like the Third Age, Fourth Age. I think Lord of the Rings happened in the Third Age.
Okay.
And in this show, they're dealing with the Second Age.
Are you for this?
I don't know. Well, okay. So Peter Jackson, the director of Lord of the Rings, is not involved in this. So right off the bat, I'm like,
I was going to say.
because he was so heavily involved. I mean, obviously, director, writer, producer of these films. So it's like, you know, he's not even having it. I don't even know if he's having much of a hand at all in this. So it's like, I don't know. But I mean, I have hope because, like, you know, I think the people that are working on it do understand that this is such a big deal. Mm-hmm. So that they want to treat it respectfully, you know?
Yeah. I feel like it always gets touchy when you do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Because, like, and it's with Amazon, too. It's like, are you guys doing this for money?
Right.
Because
I just run out of ideas?
Because I heard that, you know, whether they would admit to this or not, that they needed a big blockbuster hit after Game of Thrones to compete with Game of Thrones. Sorry. So right off the bat, you're like, okay, are you guys doing this for the right reasons? And is it going to be good?
Right. I don't feel like you can just create a blockbuster hit.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say, I think, honestly, this one's my favorite.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's a tie. This and the first.
Yeah, it was the same for me. The Return of the King has a slight edge for me, which is interesting that you and I say that because a lot of people that I've talked to have said their favorite one is the second one.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Which I partly why they say that is because they love the battle in the second one.
Okay.
By the way, which battle did you like better, the second one or the third one?
The third.
Yeah.
Yeah, the third. Just because it felt like the second, so the battle in the second one, I felt like you knew there was more to come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like with this one, not only did I love when, like, you felt like, oh my God, they're going to get defeated, and then this whole other army comes.
Yeah.
But it felt more complete, like, okay, you know this is the final battle.
Yeah. Like, both sides are bringing in the big guns, you know?
Yeah, and it felt, like, bigger.
Yeah, it was. Like,
At least,
and I think, I don't know if this is still accurate, but the Return of the King, this battle had, or I think the movie just in general, had the most on-screen, like, fictional deaths of any film.
Are they counting the orcs?
Yeah, well, yeah. But, like, think about all,
no
like,
one should have counted them.
Right? Orc lives matter, Andrea. Well...
I don't think they do.
Well, okay. Also, what did you think about the Ghost Army?
I thought that was badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like...
I thought it was badass.
In my mind, I could see how, like... Yeah, it's like the CGI ghosts or whatever, but, like, it didn't even... It felt cool. Like,
it was cool, and it felt, like, empowering, because you knew, like...
Yeah.
You can't kill these people.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah.
suck us.
And it's also, like, not these cheesy, goofy ghosts, right? Like, these guys are a threat.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's not like Casper.
Right?
Like, they looked mean.
Yeah.
It was just, it was a good, I thought they were cool.
Yeah. And this was another film, I know we talked about Monte Cristo being, like, a longer-ish movie, but, like, it's still packed full of, like, you know, like, you're never bored, and it's full of, like, useful information. Like, that's how I feel about, like, Return of the King. Like, yeah, like, this is an insanely long movie, but, like, I feel like it's full of, like, you know, I hope you didn't feel, like, bored.
No.
You know?
No, you're right. This was more, I think, especially compared to the second one, where it was more, I felt like there were more filler scenes.
Yeah.
In the second one.
Yeah.
Not that they were, like, they held information.
Yeah.
But they were more filler, like.
And, like, especially in the first one, too, when, like, the first half, there wasn't a whole lot of action or a whole lot of
Yeah.
fast-paced
that I didn't
stuff.
mind.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that in the first one because it's setting you up.
Yeah.
It's giving you that background of, like, these are who the hobbits are. Like,
Yeah.
this is who Bilbo Baggins is and everything.
Well, and even in the third one, like, even though we're not necessarily in a scene where the battle is going on, like, you got the scene of Frodo and Sam literally being chased by a giant spider.
Dude, that, woof.
Yeah?
The.
Not a fan of spiders?
No.
No?
No.
And I remember you asking, like, at the end of the second one, like, when Gollum's talking about, like, she'll take care of them, and, like, you don't really know who she is. She was a spider. And, like, that's why I like, definitely did not want to tell you, because, like, I wanted it to be that surprise, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also she was close to killing Frodo. Like, she stabbed him. Straight up got him. And again, Sam's left crying, like, bro.
Yeah, no, and I love when the orcs come
Yeah.
and Sam hides and he's like, Sam, you idiot. Because, like, oh, the orc was like, he's still alive.
Yeah.
And Sam's like, he's still alive, you idiot, Sam. Like, he truly was like, oh shit, Frodo's dead, so I'll just leave him.
Right. But he grabbed the ring, which is the important part.
Yeah, you know what? At first I was like, oh shit, they're going to have the ring.
They have the ring, right?
But then when, like, they were in the tower or wherever they were.
Yeah.
And, like, they were going through all of Frodo's stuff, and I was like, they didn't mention the ring once.
Yeah.
I was like, so clearly
Right.
Sam took it.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. And also, I don't know, for me, when the ring was destroyed, like, that was satisfying to me. Like, that whole scene.
You know what? I really liked the way that scene played because it showed the complexity of, like, that power of the ring.
Yeah.
Because, like, you knew Frodo wasn't just going to go, okay.
Yeah. Well, and even Sam just said, like, what are you waiting for? Just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it got to the point when Frodo's
complexity
just
of
like, bro, the ring is mine now. And then Gollum comes in and bites the ring off Frodo's finger.
Which was insane.
Right.
Like, insane.
Yeah.
Like, Gollum! No, Gollum.
No Gollum.
Gollum! Gollum, no!
And then, yeah, like, I don't know if Frodo, like, had kind of a, like, come to character moment when he was like, all right, this has got to end. Like, you can just see it in his face, like, after the, it's like, dude, this guy bit my finger off for a ring. Like,
Yeah.
this has got to stop.
Yeah, and I think even just, like, having Gollum fall in with the ring,
Yeah,
it's kind of perfect because he finally got his precious.
right. It killed him.
It killed him, but he got it.
Right. Yeah,
Like, he got his precious.
yeah. And I don't know, like, this is a weird thing for me to like, but, like, the fact that, like, the ring didn't instantly get melted or whatever, right? It just kind of, like, sat there for a minute.
Well, no, it kind of gives you that, like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Is this gonna, like,
Like,
did this
this
work?
is it. Yeah.
Or, like, wait, shit. Did that work?
Right?
Like, why isn't it melting?
Yeah. And then, like, the letters around it kind of pop up and then it melts and it's like, oh, that's cool.
To be honest, the first thought when, like, the letters started to come up,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God, is it unleashing its power? Does this just make it stronger? Like,
Andrea, there's a whole secret other 3 movies that we have to watch.
oh, God. As long as they're not 3 hours.
You're right. They're 6 hours each.
Oh, Lord.
And this is another funny thing that people always bring up is that movie would not end.
No.
Like, you think about how, like, there are so many, like, endings to that movie. Like,
Well,
because
okay.
even you had said, like, okay, Frodo and Sam kind of accept their death on the side of Mount Doom, and then it fades to black, and you're like, Dave, is that the end of the movie?
There were so many times where you're like, oh, okay, this is the end. And then, whoop. And I was like, really?
Because I'm trying to think. So, Frodo gets saved by Gandalf and the Eagles, Frodo and Sam. That was like one of the endings. And then it's everyone reunited, like the Fellowship reunited.
Yep.
And then, oh yeah, Aragorn becomes king and hooks up with Arwen.
Because, you know.
And then
they go off on the boat.
And then Sam comes home with his family. And that's the end.
I know. I was like, okay, when is this going to end?
And everyone makes the joke. It's like, guys, this is a 4-hour movie. I have to pee. Just finish already.
But literally, I was like, okay, this is it. Oh, wait. Oh.
Oh, and this is another part that made me and other nerds get emotional, is when Aragorn's crowned king and he comes up to the hobbits who are standing there, and he's
that was a sweet moment.
The hobbits bow to Aragorn because he's now a king, and he's like, my friends, you bow to no one, and then everybody bows to the hobbits, and it's like...
that was such a sweet moment. I was like...
My heart. Because, you know, they all had a hand in destroying the evil from the world. So, like, yeah, you better bow to them.
You don't bow to no one.
Right.
You all are here because of them.
Right. Yeah. Like, the evil in the world is gone because of them.
Bow.
You bow to them, man. Pippin's like, yeah, you bow to me.
Right? Where's my food?
Okay, and this is something that, like, I'll show you after we podcast. But the 4 hobbits are standing there, like... Everyone's bowing to them, and they're all in awe, right? That's the fact that everyone's bowing to them. Sam, Frodo, Merry are all in awe. Pippin is the one that's standing...
What'd my boy do?
He's the one that's standing there with a satisfied look on his face, like, guys, I deserve this.
That's my boy.
He's, like, looking out just like, yep, I deserve this. Listen, guys.
That's why I love him so much.
You bow to me, peasants.
Yeah. Like, he just is like, you know what? Yeah, I do. I deserve this.
Pippin, you're the stupidest one out of all 4 of us.
Hey.
What?
You leave him alone.
What, he's still alive? How crushed would you have been if he had died?
I told you, I would have walked out.
Frodo can die, but Pippin?
I was a little upset about Frodo dying. I felt it was a little anticlimactic. I was like, really?
Also, I will say, like, poor Frodo, because he got stabbed in the first movie by the Ringwraith, almost died. He kind of not really got stabbed by the cave troll in the first film as well.
Yeah.
And then, like, he gets stabbed by Shelob by the spider.
Yeah.
In the third film, it's like, bro, Frodo can't catch a break.
No. Dude, he was looking real rough.
He was.
Poor Frodo.
Poor Frodo. I mean, come on. Spread it out among the hobbits, man.
I know, right? Not Pippin.
Not Pippin.
Not Pippin.
I will say, like, personally for me, like, I know you love Pippin, and, like, a lot of people love Sam because of his heroism, but I love Merry. I'm a Merry fan.
I can kind of guess why, but tell us.
I mean, like, I just think he's underrated compared to the other hobbits. And also, like, think about how loyal he is. Like,
no, I can see that.
He's loyal to Pippin. He's loyal to Éowyn in battle.
But think about it. He is also very, like, I would say you could argue he's another hero of the story.
Yeah.
Because when he went into battle.
Yeah. Like, he kind of disobeyed Theoden because Theoden was like, hobbits don't belong in war. And Merry's like, dude, that's not going to stop me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fight.
Yeah.
So, he's the man. Sorry, hobbit.
He's a hobbit.
He's a hobbit. Hobbit lives matter?
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Hobbit lives matter.
They do. So, overall thoughts about, Return of the King.
I liked it.
Yeah?
I did.
You're a fan?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I watched it again because it's so long.
You don't watch it every single week like I do?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't either. Don't worry, listeners. I'm not insane.
He really watches it every night.
Right. I spend literally half my day watching Lord of the Rings.
I was going to say. Or at least one of them every night.
I don't go to sleep, just Lord of the Rings.
Just Lord of the Rings the whole night. No wonder you have bags under your eyes.
Hey, listen. My name is Frodo Baggins.
I see what you did there.
But and I think a lot of people, and us included, have said, like, we just want to live in New Zealand. We want to live in the Shire, become hobbits.
That's what we were talking about too. Like, if we lived in Middle Earth.
Yeah, we'd be hobbits.
Who would we be?
Right.
And I definitely think I would be a hobbit.
Yeah, because, like...
They just, like, lay back and chill.
Yeah, because, like, the elves are really cool, and they're, like, good in battle, and they're immortal, and
that's not
they're
me.
skilled. Yeah. And, like, I will say the dwarves are kind of cool, though, because, like, yeah, they're really gruff, but, like, they seem like they can have a good time.
I mean, I don't have that rough edge to me.
Right.
I'm more like Pippin, just like happy-go-lucky.
And you could be like a human, but like they seem like they always got stuff going on.
Yeah. I'd rather be a hobbit.
Yeah, like literally.
I don't want their big feet, but
everything else.
I already have big feet, so I guess it doesn't matter. But...
So you're already hobbit, so you fit in.
I do.
You just need to like shrink about a foot.
I mean, I'm already short.
Are you hobbit short though? Let's cut you off the knees.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty short. I'm only 5 foot.
I mean, the hobbits are like 3.5 feet, so.
Well,
you'd be really tall for a hobbit. You could feel good about yourself.
When Pippin was getting taller.
He's so proud of himself.
He was so happy. I love him.
Okay, I've literally never heard anyone support Pippin as much as you do. Like, everyone's like, oh, I love Aragorn, or I love Sam. You're over here loving Pippin, man.
He's underrated.
Yeah. You know? But you love your, like, comic relief characters, too.
Oh, I do.
Like, I think Pippin is, like, the Fred and George Weasley.
Which, you know.
You love.
I love Ron. Ron and Fred and George.
Yeah. Although you could argue that, like, Fred and George have that brotherly love. You could bring that same brotherly love over to, like, Legolas and Gimli. Because they kind of have that brotherly, like, fun love.
Wait, dude, you also loved that. I remember you mentioned you loved that scene where he was like,
oh, yeah.
Are you ready to die in battle?
Yeah, in that last scene, it was like, what was it? I never thought I'd die fighting side by side with an elf. And Legolas is like, how about side by side with a friend? And it's like, huh!
And he's like, I could do that.
I could do that.
Ah! Stop it!
At the beginning of Fellowship, you guys hated each other. That is character development.
It is. It is. You're not wrong. I also love Gimli.
Yeah, Gimli's your boy.
I did love Gimli. I like Pippin more. But.
Yeah. But, like, the stuff Gimli would say out of nowhere.
Great.
He was hilarious.
But I guess it goes back to me loving the comic relief.
Right.
Like, just the way the things he would say, it was just, like, perfect for that moment.
Yeah.
And they weren't, like, overtly, like, funny like Pippin.
Like, when they're in battle and, like, they have that killing contest.
Oh, yeah, and he's like, 42.
42.
And, like, it was just looking
like,
at him.
they're literally killing orcs and they're, like, keeping count.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was great.
Like, I'll be honest, if I'm ever in battle with you, like, we're doing a kill count.
For sure. It's happening.
It is. I just want to go into battle now. Let's do it.
I already know who you would kill for your first kill.
Yeah?
Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
We'll save that for after the podcast because I don't want the feds after me. In case said person does die and they listen to the podcast for evidence.
I love that you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Folks at home, if you know, let's just say...
you're probably wrong.
Right.
We'll just say that. It's definitely not who you're thinking.
Oof. Anyway. Yeah. But...
it was good.
Yeah. Also, 11 Academy Award nominations, 11 wins.
I can understand it.
Yeah.
I can understand it because it was a lot of, and I know nothing about cinematography,
Right.
but just the complexity of what it takes to create all that. Every single scene had to have been amazing.
Yeah. And like so, and I mean, you think about it, how long it must have took to like put in all that work for a 4-hour movie, like the editing, the CGI, the like not think about all the costumes that every single like side character had.
Right.
So.
Right.
And the
or
scenery
just how many
props
people they had to do for the like.
Yeah.
In those huge battles.
Oh, and this is something that I wanted to tell you too, because this made me laugh. That final battle with Aragorn and Gandalf and all them, they did that on an active minefield.
What?
In New Zealand.
Really?
The only like location that was perfect for what they needed was on a minefield, and like the government had to come in and be like, guys, they had to regulate it and be like, guys, literally, if you see fins popping out of the ground, that's a bomb. And it might still be active.
Dude, that's insane.
So, like, they were literally like, guys, watch your step.
Dude.
While also fighting each other.
That is dedication.
Right?
That is dedication. Oh my God, hold on. Because, okay, speaking of, like, around that scene and, like, a battle scene.
Yeah.
I saw a political meme.
Okay.
And it had, like, all the orcs.
Yeah.
And it showed, like, all the people coming to turn in the ballots. It was just all the orcs. Again, those memes are on point.
Right?
But no, that's seriously dedication.
Yeah. And I think, like, I had heard some interviews about this movie too, and the fact that this won Best Picture, like, think about how many fantasy movies like this have won Best Picture. Like, it's
not a lot.
0 to none.
Yeah,
so
not a lot.
So the fact that this won as many...
Harry Potter.
Right. Star Wars.
I'm salty about Harry Potter, but it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
But, you know, big blockbuster fantasy movies like this, like, none of them win.
None of them. But I think if you look at Harry Potter, like, the cinematography in it isn't really, like, complex.
Right. It's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
No. Don't get me wrong. It's really good.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot more complexity to create Middle-earth.
Yeah.
And than there was in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Because, like, you didn't have all these different... You had the trolls. You had the giants. You had... Why am I blanking on his name? But the half creature, or half human, half horse that lives in the dark forest.
Oh, Friends?
Friends.
Yeah.
You had him, but, like... If you look at Lord of the Rings, you had all those orcs. You had the tree.
Yeah.
The tree beard.
Yeah.
You had whatever the freaking thing was that almost killed Gandalf in the...
Yeah, the Balrog.
Balrog.
The demon.
Yeah. But you had the spider.
Yeah.
But, and it's not even that, but, like... I don't know, like... There's just a lot more complexity to it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like. Because it's so far away from our world.
Yeah.
Like, it's not... There's not a lot of similarities from their world.
When I feel like if you're making a movie based off a fictional world, like, you have to get it right. Because even, like, the smallest little, like...
Mm-hmm.
Misinformation can make you, like... It can, like, take you out of the moment.
Oh, for sure.
And, like, it's one of those things, like, I feel like you can tell
Mm-hmm.
immediately, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
But, no, it was good.
So, Hobbit next?
I actually do kind of want to see it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I heard mixed reviews.
So, I'll be fully honest. Lord of the Rings is so much better for me.
That's what I've heard.
It's still, I mean, the Hobbit movies are still amazing and breathtaking to see, But yeah, for me, it's like Lord of the Rings was just, there's something so cinematically groundbreaking about it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of comparable to Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
And where there's just something about the original 8 Harry Potter movies.
Yeah. It's something special.
It's something special where you don't have that in Fantastic Beasts, which
Yeah.
now I will not go see because they kicked Johnny Depp out of the movie.
Did they?
Mm-hmm. He just announced today. So I will no longer be seeing any more Fantastic Beasts movies.
Right?
But don't even get me started. That's a whole other podcast.
Right? Anyway.
Good Lord.
Oh boy.
But I like it. But yeah, Hobbit next.
Okay. All right. So I guess this is like because I'm putting this part last, so this is the end of this podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like we said before, like, your picks were so, like,
Different.
not related to each other at all. Like, whereas mine were
No.
like, the 3 Lord of the Rings movies, where yours was, like, so incredibly different.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, each one was great in its own way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a huge fan of comedy, so, like, I love Bridesmaids. And, you know, with a promise, like, wow, I actually learned something.
Well, yeah, there's like that historical piece to it.
Yeah. And then, yeah, Count of Monte Cristo is just one of those, like, epic movies that you have to see, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I introduced you to Lord of the Rings, which enough said, right?
I mean, you took me and forced me to watch it because I was determined, because I watched it, I tried to watch it when I was 10.
Yeah. And you said you fell asleep, and I'm like, no. That's not going to fly around here.
You're like, no.
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 Listen, no.
I feel like you created this whole concept for the podcast just to get me to watch it.
How'd you know?
You were like, how can I get Andrew to watch Lord of the Rings? I'll say
Okay.
it's for the podcast.
We're going to start out with, like, something paranormal, you know, reel her in. Get her interested. Then after a few episodes, I'll test something out.
And it worked.
Yes. And guys, she actually liked it. She fell in love with one of the hobbits.
Perfect. I follow him on Instagram now.
Listen, guys, if you want to get somebody to be on there on your side, just like exploit him a little bit, right? That's all it takes.
Also, have Billy Boyd in.
Right? If you want to have a successful movie, have Billy Boyd in it.
That's all you need.
And Orlando Bloom, according to you.
Mm-hmm. Billy Boyd.
You were so hardcore for Orlando Bloom before these movies.
Because I loved him in Pirates.
Yeah. Which I feel like the first Pirates kind of came out around the same time as Lord of the Rings. Maybe a few years after. I forget when Curse of the Black Pearl came out. I think it was 03 or 04. We'll have to check.
Around there.
Because Return of the King came out in 03, so I think he was still young in the first Pirates movie.
He was.
So I think it was right around that time.
To be honest, though, him marrying Katy Perry kind of ruined him for me.
Yeah.
It kind of was like, oh,
Oof.
Orlando.
You can do so much better.
I lost so much respect. Just like when Liam Hemsworth married Miley Cyrus, I was like,
Ugh.
Bro, why?
Your brother is the god of thunder. You can do so much better.
Right? Also, you're Liam Hemsworth. Why her?
Dude, you could have married Jennifer Lawrence.
I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, I would have too. Oh, well. That's another story for another podcast.
It's another.
Anyway, yeah. Hope you guys like this one. I think this is the longer one. We haven't strung together all the videos yet, but I think this is the longer one.
Yeah.
But
we'll have to figure out how to do that so it's not like boring you guys to death.
Yeah. Well, in the comments below, I'll put together like the start times for each one of the movies we talk about. So if you guys like want to like skip around, You can do that.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Or we could maybe bunch, like, my movies in one.
Which is, I mean, if you made it this far, you already made it to the end of the video, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, if you want to go back and watch it again, or listen to it, yeah, and if you guys want to see these movies, like, just know that we both recommend all of these movies.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I will say, especially for, well, I could be selective about each movie, because, like, Bridesmaids, I thought it was a chick flick, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, it's a comedy, but I thought it was, like, a chick flick, but, like, I really liked it. And I'm not into chick flicks, but I really liked it, right? And then I feel like The Promise is just one of those that, like, everyone, like, you need to watch that just for the information, because, like, for me, I just didn't know about all that stuff.
Right.
So I feel like if you, yeah.
Well, and honestly, with what's going on in Armenia right now, I feel like it's more prominent to, like, for people to learn.
Yeah.
About it.
Unless you're listening in the year 2050, in that case, we're probably all dead.
Oh, this is true.
Yeah, so.
This is true.
God bless you. If you're still alive.
No, but I feel like it is really important to, like, it introduces you to what are, like, that history, that part of history.
Mm-hmm.
And then and that can lead you to learn, like, Armenians are still fighting that fight.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't end in 1920.
Right.
Like, Armenians are still fighting the same exact fight, so.
Yeah. And I went into this film, like, not, because, like, in high school, you're like, oh, we're watching a documentary movie, right? Like, I don't want, this is a waste of my time, but, like, now it's to the point where it's like, okay, this is something that, like, I don't know about. Like, this is a history lesson that I'm actually, like, I want to know about this, because I feel like it's important, which it is.
Well, and I think that's, I think we talked about this in when we talked about The Promise, but, like,
yeah.
I think that's why I loved what he did with the movie so well, is that he didn't make it like a historical documentary. It wasn't like what you watch on the History Channel or...
I feel like it was like the Armenian version of Schindler's List, in a sense.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like, yes and no.
I haven't seen Schindler's List.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Oh, I feel like if you... That's another one that I can introduce you to. But, yeah. I mean, they're kind of like parallels to, like, you know...
Yeah, so, yeah, it's not like a documentary, but it's showing you the history of, like
what happened.
This is what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's intertwined in a story.
Yeah.
That you're following.
Right. So, yeah, definitely recommend all of these movies.
Yeah. And I would say that of Lord of the Rings, but I'm pretty sure everyone else has probably seen it, so.
But if you're one of the people that haven't, just take it from someone who fell asleep when she first tried to see it.
Listen, he tried to convince my mom to watch it, and she will not.
Well, we'll see.
He's working on it.
Working on it. Anyway, yeah. Hope you guys have a good night and a good rest of your week.
Hopefully it's not too stressful with the election.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure by the time this comes out, it still won't be called.
Dude, we're going to get to the next election, and it still won't be called.
Well, if that means, well, yeah.
Oof. Anyway.
I hope not.
Anyways, have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.